Hello nerds, today we're going to talk about something a bit different. We're going to be talking about plugin companies selling things they've already sold before, but under a new name, maybe with a few new features, just anything that technically allows them to sell it again. Now, I think the most egregious example of this is iZotope over the past 5 or so years. So for those of you who don't know, iZotope is a music plugin company. They've made such things as Ozone, Aurora, Neutron, Neoverb, and most recently Equinox. Now, some of their plugins are pretty good. I do use Ozone pretty often. And some of their plugins I think are just re-releases of older plugins. So they've recently released this plugin called Equinox, and believe it or not, it's another reverb plugin. Definitely not too many of these on the market. Now, the plugin itself seems fine. My real issue with this is the fact that they've already released 2 reverb plugins in the past 5 years. Now, Equinox is a algorithmic reverb. One of the main new features is really just that it supports surround sound. Now, for those of you who don't know, they've released 2 other reverb plugins in the past 5 years. One is named Neoverb, and another one is named Aurora. Aurora was only about a year ago, and it would have been perfect to update either of those plugins and just add the features of this, but that would not allow them to charge $150 to $250 for it. Now, there are other plugin companies guilty of this too, and upon further reflection, Waves may be an even larger perpetrator of this. Let me know in the comments how many reverb plugins Waves has released with a different name since their inception. If you can think of other plugin companies doing this, let me know down in the comments. So for those of you who don't know, iZotope Neoverb was a reverb plugin that they released 5 years ago, and they branded it as the smartest reverb plugin for music producers at the time. And the funny thing is you could actually find reverb in a lot of their other plugins too. Like they had Neutron, they had Nectar. Nectar was like a vocal mixing plugin. Neutron was a mixing plugin. Overall, my point is there's just a lot of overlap between these plugins. The difference between this new one, Equinox, and Neoverb and Aurora, it's like an overlap of like 95% of the features. Like the only thing that they really have changed is the ability for surround sound, because this Aurora plugin already had unmasking, and it kind of had a better looking interface, if I'm being honest. This one was on the cheaper end though, and it would have made perfect sense for them to make like a pro version of it or something, or even just like a 2.0 version, and then maybe charge for the update price, or sorry, upgrade price. There's a difference between upgrades and updates for those of you who don't know. Updates are usually free. So I mean, overall, this plugin itself doesn't look that bad. I'm just kind of pissed off at iZotope in general. And I think a lot of people probably share the same sentiment. Because on the surface, it looks fine until you look into the company. And it's got 1,250 presets. There's some decent things going on with the reverb, the way you can shape it and whatnot. Global tone control, okay, cool. And the reverb itself sounds fine. I've seen some people say it sounds like shit, but I personally don't hear it. Like here, let's listen to the before and after. We could even compare this to the other reverbs before and after, maybe. Okay, here, vocal shouts, before, Equinox. Okay, I mean, it sounds fine, but let's look at these other reverbs that they have. I mean, it kind of just makes you uncomfortable with buying their shit, because they're just gonna make a new product with the same thing like within a year or two. I can't even believe this. Aurora came out 1 year ago. It's interesting the ways they find to like brand a different product that's basically the same. This one's a reverb that listens, Neoverb, a reverb that listens. But they didn't really think this through here. The smartest reverb for music making. Is Equinox not the smartest reverb for music making? Because that's the newer one. That seems like the better option at this point. Okay, here, let's hear the before and after. All right. If it plays, is it even gonna play? I click the play button and it fucking disappears. This is good shit. So maybe they haven't updated this website in a long time. I don't know. It doesn't even appear to work. Let's try Aurora instead. And maybe in those past 5 years it broke or something. I don't fucking know. Okay, let's hear it on some vocals before.
No, get there eventually. There's no sense in rushing.
Okay, after.
Get there eventually. There's no sense in rushing. What's natural?
I mean, honestly, it's probably just the settings, but yeah, the other one, Equinox, does sound a bit better to me, but I personally think it's probably the settings. This one sounds like it may have some chorus or something on it. But my point stands here. Like, they're just reselling you the same shit at a higher prices, by the way. This one's $149, normal price $249. Now, if you're like me and don't want to support this anymore, the best way to do it is just by not buying their new shit. You know, share this video to them. Share this video to your friends who may be interested in this topic. This is a topic that needs to be talked about. It needs to be pushed around the music producer community more, because until some people speak up about it and share this idea of them reselling the same shit, or these criticisms of them selling the same shit, nothing's going to change about it, you know? I guess it has to do with the fact that, you know, they're a large business and, you know, they need to keep income coming in. And really, I've kind of talked about this before, like how music production plugins are dead. When I was saying dead, I was being a bit hyperbolic. They're not completely dead, but for the most part, a lot of the innovation's kind of done. A lot of people don't need a lot of the stuff they're adding at this point. It's kind of a dead end, I guess is what I'm saying. But I'm thinking maybe some of these companies have realized this, and that is the reason why they're trying to milk it, essentially. They're trying to see if they can sell you the same shit over and over and maybe add a few features here and there. Who's willing to pay for it? You know, especially people in higher end recording environments, like large mainstream-esque studios. They are more likely to pay for this shit because they have the money to do so. A regular like home studio guy, they're not really gonna have the money for this unless it's something that's really interesting to them. And as far as like dead music production plugins go, I mean, iZotope is pretty bad with this, but honestly I think the worst of the worst is generally other music producers selling you plugins. I'm sorry to say this, guys, probably just made a few enemies there, but a lot of the music producers selling their own plugins are just selling you fucking bullshit that already exists with their name on it. It's kind of the same deal, different, you know, with a little twist on it. And obviously, if you just want to support these companies or producers releasing a plugin that already exists, that is your prerogative to do so. But you're also reinforcing the idea that this is something they should do again. But another thing I wanted to add here is one of the main selling features of Equinox is something that was already in Aurora, a plugin that came out a year ago from this same company. Dynamic adaptive unmasking, which I already thought wasn't really the biggest feature in the world to begin with. Like, you know, unmasking between your different EQs on your synths or your instruments or whatever, fine, but between your reverbs and instruments, okay, like we're getting very niche here, you know? Like, what is next here? What is the next? And the funny thing too, like, to kind of pile on this plugin a little bit more here, some of the stuff they're selling is like not even really realistic. Creative reverb effects. Yeah, and would you believe the creative reverb effects are distortion, compression, and gate? Yeah, really creative shit there. Am I saying this is a bad plugin though? Not really. I just don't think it should have been a new plugin. I just think they should have updated Aurora, or realistically, all of this shit should have just been updates of Neoverb. They should have just continued development with Neoverb. I don't know. It's just kind of wacky, and it's really, it really just comes off as money hungry, you know, at the end of the day for me. It doesn't feel genuine. Like, there's nothing really wrong with making money. Like, go ahead, make your money, man. But, you know, you shouldn't be doing it at the expense of, like, charging more to producers, you know? That's kind of the problem I have with this. Aside from the fact that it's, like, more plugins you gotta buy, it's just they're finding a way to charge one of the broker demographics online more money. And no offense to music producers, I just don't think a lot of us have a lot of money. Unless you're somebody who's constantly getting placements or you're working in a large studio, you're probably just getting by, if I had to guess, especially if it's your own studio. But yeah, that's all I had for you today, guys. Let me know your thoughts on this down below. A little bit of a controversial topic, but I think probably a lot of people are going to agree with it. Companies need to stop doing this. Stop doing this. Get your hands out of my wallet and get your hands somewhere where you're doing something creative and worth paying money for. Stop trying to give me the same shit but changing out the name on it is kind of what I'm trying to say here. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new here for more videos like this, as well as music production news, reviews, and other things. That is it. I will see you guys next time.